the fact that our holidays are multidimensional. So we have a tradition as Jews that at our happiest times we remember our darkest hours. So at a Jewish wedding, there's a tradition that we break a glass. And we're breaking a glass at the culmination of the wedding ceremony, at the happiest moment of our lives. We're breaking a glass to remember the tragedy of the destruction of our Holy Temple in Jerusalem and of our exile. And similarly, today, as we celebrate our freedom from slavery, a most happy moment, we stop to remember our most tragic moment and darkest time, the Holocaust. And Roz Pincus, who's one of the founders of our school, more than 50 years ago, is here with us today. She's always with us, but she's here with us today to read a very poignant and powerful poem. And it was written by Binem, who himself was born and raised in Warsaw, Poland. He was a famous Yiddish poet. He lost his family in the Holocaust. And this poem talks about, the name of the poem is In the Warsaw Ghetto, and you're going to hear it in English and then in Yiddish. And it talks about the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. And it ties back to what I was saying about in our darkest times remembering, in our happiest times remembering our darkest times, because in fact the young fighters who were responsible, the young Jewish fighters who were responsible for the Warsaw Ghetto uprising chose the first night of Passover in 1943, which was on April 19th, to begin the uprising. And those few hundred young Jewish fighters with 50 guns and homemade bombs managed for 28 days to fight the strongest forces in the German army that managed to conquer whole countries in less than 28 days. And those Jewish fighters, with incredible strength and bravery, fought and died. And you'll hear from Cheri Goldstein and Roz Pincus the Binem poem in the Warsaw Ghetto.
Pesach has come to the ghetto again. The wine holds no grapes, the matzah no grain. But the people again sing the wonders of old, the flight from the Pharaoh so often retold. How ancient the story, how old the refrain. The windows are shuttered, the doors are concealed. The Seder goes on, and fiction and fact are confused into one. Which is myth, which is real? Come all who are hungry, invites the Haggadah. The helpless, the aged, lie starving in fear. Come all who are hungry, while children lie famished. Come all who are hungry, but the tables are bare.
In Varshever Geto is its Khoydesh Nisn. Auf Käuses vom Borschen, auf Matzes vom Kleien, erzählt man aufs Nahe die Amoleke Nisim, wie's jiddische Volk ist aus vom Mitzrayim. Wie alt ist die Meise, wie alt ist der Nigen, nur jetzt bei verhangenen Fenster der Seder Geto und zum nicht der Tremme zu liegen, als schwere sie beiden voneinander zu schieben. Khoydesh bei Fenster verstellte und Tieren. Khoydesh und schreien von Hunger die Kinder. Khoydesh bei ledige Pesach marschieren. Khoydesh und skrippen die Skenen die Blinde.
Pesach has come to the ghetto again. My mama puts a smile on her face. Her lips, which are bitten from hunger, are transformed by the holiday. Milder, softer, her eyes begin to shine again, just as they did in bygone times. In her eyes the raisin wine is brimming from long forgotten, distant Seders. Suddenly her eyes widen in terrified surprise. Astonished, she stretches out her hands, her pious hands. Instead of starting the Seder with Kiddush, her son begins intoning, "Pour out your wrath."
In Varshever Geto is it's Khoydesh Nisn. Mein Mame tut donne für Ponym dem Schmeicheln. Die Lippen von seinen von Hunger verbissen, von Jonte, sie werden jetzt milder und weicher. Die Augen bei ihr heben wieder und scheinen als sie wie am Mond in vergangenen Jahren. Und schäumen sie auf die Roschenke weinen von jenen vergangenen, weite Sidoren. Nur plötzlich wachsen sie grün kraftisch, mit Steunen zerstreckt sie die Hände ihrer Frumme, anstatt dann zu halten am Seder mit Kiddush. Die Sinn eben nun Schmeuchhammers Rösche brummen.
Pesach has come to the ghetto again. The lore-laden words of the Seder are said. And the cup of the prophet Elijah awaits, but the angel of death has intruded instead. As always, the German snarls his commands. As always, the words sharpened up and precise. As always, the fate of more Jews in his hands. Who shall live, who shall die this Passover night? But no more will the Jews to the slaughter be led. The truculent jibes of the Nazis are past, and the lintels and doorposts tonight will be red with the blood of free Jews who will fight to the last.
In Varshever Geto is it's Khoydesh Nisn. Voll steht der Kosse Eliohu Hanovis, nur wer hat dem Seder da übergerissen, gekommen ist trinken der Malach Hamovis. Wie ständig die deutsche Sprache von Mustieren, wie ständig die Sprache von Baffeler Geniete, wie ständig sie seine gekommen der Firma Theo von dem jüdischen Volk zu der Schritte, no nein! Es wird im Ghetto nicht Herren mehr siedeln von Nazis, was führen ob jeden Gehetzte. Mit Blut wird man wieder verschmieren die Stiedlen, mit Blut von die Freie, mit Blut von die Letzte.
Pesach has come to the ghetto again, and neighbor to neighbor the battle pledge gives. The blood of the Germans will flow in the ghetto so long as one Jew in the ghetto still lives. In facing the Nazi, no fear, no objection. In facing the Nazi, no weeping, no wincing, only the hatred, the wild exultation of standing against him and madly resisting. Listen how death roams in blood and in fury. Listen how bullets and shells whine in flight. Behold our history writes end to the story with death heroic this Passover night.
In Varshever Geto is it's Khoydesh Nisn. Von Schochen zu Schochen wird übergegeben, das deutsche Blitzer und nicht aufhören gießen, Kosmans wird ein Jid in der Ghetto noch leben. Aber sie sollen eigentlich sein, kein Hacht Neue. Aber sie sollen eigentlich sein, mehr kein Träre, nur Sinne und Scheuen vom wilder Neue. Und stehen sie an Ketten und können sich wehren. Und Herr, wir suchen den Schoss auf die Schossen. Und Herr, wie der Trucht geht durch blutige Spuren. Und Herr, die Geschichte wird jetzt abgeschlossen. In heldischen Umkum, in Leo Hashimori.